guys. I just want to welcome you back to Exam Fit session number 2. Last week, we started discussing that little voice that lives in your head that starts influencing the way that you feel about certain things, especially when it comes to tests and exams. So this week is really just about discussing and giving you tools that you can start using when that little voice appears. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to bring up here is you've had a lot of time this week to listen to what that little voice is telling you. And I'm sure it's said some stuff that you were like, what? Where did that come from? It might have said some stuff that makes sense to you. But you've probably started paying attention to how when it starts interfering, your emotions either do something. They either go up or they make you feel a certain way. This week is really just about what do we do when that little voice appears? So the first thing is I'm going to ask you this. What happens, for those of you who play on a sports team, what happens when you're playing on your sports team and your sports team wins? What happens? Yeah, you celebrate, right? You throw your hands up in the air, you go, yes! You high five other people, and it's an amazing time. Everyone loves to win for that reason. But here's the thing. Your little voice has a whole lot of this over here. It has a whole lot of energy. And the truth about energy is this. When you meet your little voice, or those moments where your little voice is really just raging in your head, this is important to remember. Highest energy always wins. So those moments where you're scared and you're like, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to me? What's going on? Oh, what do I do? Those are the moments where your little voice's energy is higher than your own or the direction you want to go in, right? So it's going to keep you small because highest energy always wins. Think about the last time you argued with someone who's younger than you. Maybe you have a younger sibling or a cousin. What happens when you argue with someone who is like 5 years old and they have lots of energy? It's difficult, right? It's difficult because they seem to win every time, right? They get their way. Why? Because they have lots and lots of energy. So the first step is to realize that highest energy always wins. So my next question really then becomes, what do we do to build up that energy, right? And it comes down to this simple principle over here, right? This is something that I've learned from Blessing and Barry Mitchell. And when it comes to building up your energy, if you do this, you will notice a significant change in your energy. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate all of them. Not just when you win, not just when you win the match or when you, like, let's relate it back to exams, when you finish the exam. No, celebrate wins. And when I say wins, I'm talking about big wins, but I'm also talking about small wins. Why is that? Because here's the truth of the matter, right? You're about to, wherever you're about to step into your own kind of challenges, right? You've got this exam over here, and what you want is to do really well in it. Maybe you want an A, maybe you want a B, whatever it is. I don't know what you want. But you see, the distance between you and this massive result is sometimes really, really big, right? And the second that you step into the exam, your little voice starts going mad, and it forces all that energy down, right? Keeping you nice and small. But here's the thing. If you step into that exam with looking for small wins, just small little wins, you finish one question, yes. You finish another question, yes. You finish another one, and another one, and another one, yes. You're running ahead of time, yes. Eventually, all those small wins, what happens? It creates almost a stairway to that big one, right? Small wins, when we celebrate them, pave the way for us to get to those big wins. So this week, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things, right? The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is start celebrating your small wins. Now, even if you have a little voice that says, that's silly, I can't celebrate that, celebrate everything. If you get out of bed in the morning, celebrate that. Yes, I got out of bed on time. Yes, I had breakfast. All of those things are super important. Every one of them is going to be a step in building up that energy, right? Because you're going to notice as soon as you start celebrating those wins, what's going to happen to your energy? It's going to lift, right? It's going to elevate. Once you do that, you're going to notice the difference that it's going to make in you, how you feel. And you're going to notice that little voice starts quietening down, right? You regain control, okay? The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to create one of these things. So you might have seen this in the ocean, right? When you have a little boat on the ocean, what stops it? What stops this little boat from being carried away by the current? Yeah, it's this little thing that we drag out and we put on the bottom of the ocean floor, and it's called a what? Yeah. Thank you. It's called an anchor, right? So the same thing happens when that little voice starts coming and it starts trying to distract you. You have to have an anchor in place. Now, there are ways that we do this. And the first way I'm going to teach you how to do this is to start celebrating your wins by putting it into your body. So every time that little voice appears throughout this week, I want you to put your hands up into the air and go, yes! And notice what happens to your little voice. I know it sounds crazy, but you need to get your energy up greater. Your energy needs to be greater than that little voice. So this week, every time you get a little win, I want you to celebrate it by putting it in a fist like this. Fist is probably ideal because when you walk into an exam, you're not going to be able to stand up every time you finish a question and go, woohoo, I finished the question, right? Because you might not be able to finish the exam. So what I want you to do this week is celebrate your wins. Throw your hands up into the air and pull a fist like this. Yes. Because here's the cool thing, right? The more that you start to create that anchor, yes, 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 the more it trains your body to remember that feeling of high energy, that feeling of highest energy always wins, to help you win, to help get over that little voice, right? So this week, anchor those wins, all of those wins. I got out of bed. Yes, yes, pull a fist, pull it in, do that. The moment that you start doing that, you start training your body to remember this action. Yes, yes. So that when you're writing your exam, you don't even need to make a sound. You can just go, every time you finish that question, every time there's a question you understand that you know you've answered correctly, yes, and you'll notice what starts happening to you. You start getting this feeling of great momentum, right? Something's happening and it's you traveling in the right direction. You're getting closer to that goal that you've set. And you'll notice that little voice starts to become smaller and smaller and smaller. So this week, what I'd like you to do is start developing that anchor, start putting that anchor in place. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Because by the time exams come around, you're going to have such a strong anchor that every time you do this, you're going to feel this immense energy, this excitement, this gratitude coursing through you. And it won't just change your life today, it'll change your life going forward. So I hope this helps you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback from next week regarding the anchors that you built. Until then, have an amazing day. We'll see you soon.